Hello, welcome back to the Saba show. Today we've got the review for Carlton Essendon. Carlton picked up the dub, 26-point winners. We take the 4 points, but there is a lot to dissect. So if you enjoy this, drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So I didn't watch the entirety of this game. I saw the second half, probably the half I wanted to miss, but at the same time, the half that really told the story or tells the story about how far we've got to go before we reach the highest standard. I mean, from a first half standpoint, from what I heard, it was, scoring in streaks, basically. Essendon were in it in the first quarter. Second quarter, we ran away with it, and it really stayed around that margin for the rest of the game. But Harry kicked 3 in the first half. Charlie kicked 1. There was a spread of goal kickers, so we take that. Success stories out of the night. Caleb Marchbank and Harry came out of the game unscathed. Caleb Marchbank gave away a shit ton of free kicks. Obviously, that's the rustiness just kicking in. Obviously, it'll take him a bit of time to get accustomed to that. But, obviously, the perfect ease-in game was this game. Because, obviously, a much more formidable matchup next week against Richmond. But, Harry Mackay also getting back to somewhat of his best. The forward line delivery or the kicks into the forward line didn't really help him in any way, shape or form. Constantly sat on his head. Sometimes he'd run too far under the football, and it would just be a light nudge for the Essendon defender, and they would have taken the mark. So we've got to work on that. That was just a common trend in the second half. Problem is, obviously, I've made this comment in real life. I've said, look, if we can get to round 20 unscathed with injuries, then, all these players to come back into the lineup, there's going to be serious competition. However, we can't, because last night, once again, an unlucky break. Adam Cerra out. I don't know how long for, but yeah, it was within the first few minutes of the game. So not ideal there. Another injury to add on to the list that just keeps on piling up. So not good there. But I think the more pressing story here is, once again, scoring in the second half or scoring in a specific half. It's always a problem. It's always the first half or the second half. Second half, we scored 22 points. 22 points against Essendon will cut it. Last quarter, there was no goals scored. Against another opponent, you're getting punished. They could score 3 or 4 on you, and there goes the game. And this is just going to cost us. It really feels like we're setting the scene for finishing in the top 6, but only to get knocked out in the first week of finals in a really disappointing fashion. Because we just can't keep on getting away with this. There's going to be a point where it catches up to us. Sure, you can take the glass half full approach and say, well, we got the W despite playing like shit. Well, you don't want to play like shit in the first place. This was an opportunity to, get a bit more percentage. We've obviously got one of the weakest percentages in the top 8, so we need to try and make that up somehow. And teams like Essendon are the perfect way to do it. But the second half, we outscored them by 2 points. And amazingly enough, we scored 22 points to do that. So that's really telling the story about how competitive Essendon were. I'll give them credit. Second half, the Bombers looked actually more switched on than we did. There were passages of play that were really puzzling from Essendon. Obviously both teams have come off the bye, so they should be ready and raring to go. They should be, at the peak of their fitness levels. But the Bombers just at times looked like they were just giving us a procession. Players like Nick Newman were able to run 30 metres from the kick out. They were able to run off their man. No one would chase them, and they could go sprint down the middle of the corridor that was wide open and basically just be allowed to carry the ball. So that's not going to be permitted to us against a really good football side. So it actually sort of presents as a worry if we're only beating teams like that by 26 points, given what they were giving to us. It was very easy at times. On the flip side, Essendon had moments in the second half where they were dominating territory. We couldn't get it out of the back 50. We were giving away free kicks. We were hanging on by a thread at times. And the Bombers just weren't able to make the most of their opportunities. There were so many chances on goal that could have easily been a score. They didn't even register because the kicks were so bad. There was, I don't know how many out of bounds calls there were, but you could count them on more than one hand. It was just ridiculous. It was very error riddled at times. We were actually really clean with the football in close. Kicks inside forward 50 were very reminiscent of past years. You kick it on a tall forward's head and Bombers defenders basically gang up. And it's basically easy pickings from there because, you know, we didn't have a forward line presence beyond that. Once the ball hit the ground, small forwards weren't really there. And I don't know if that was just a thing that they weren't working hard enough or they were in the wrong position, but it really felt like they weren't even within the frame of the screen, which sort of says something. So, I mean, I think they only kicked one goal between them, Durden and Matty Owies, but yeah, and Zachy Fisher kicked one as well. So I don't really know what to take out of that. It's a really tough one to sort of gauge, if you know what I'm saying. But I don't think it's a positive. I don't think you can take positives from this game. You've got to think about it glass half empty and say that we have a lot of improvement to make, because there is. It's just speaking the truth. If you do anything otherwise, you're actually swerving from that fact. So yeah, I mean, we had the 5 best possession winners on the ground. Newman had 29, and it really felt like, you know, he had 29. Doherty doing what he does as usual, 24 kicks, 700 meters gained, high disposal efficiency. Cripper, Walshy and Hewitt also there as well. So top 5 ball winners on the ground were the Blues, but it didn't really feel like we had the same effect that we've had in some weeks where we've had that exact domination in the midfield. So, you know, it is what it is. We take the W. We have Richmond next week. It's going to be really interesting to see how we match up, especially in the forward line against the Tigers. It's going to be a big challenge. We cannot play like this. Because yeah, at times just looking a bit abysmal, to be honest. And the Richmond defenders will mop that footy up if you kick the ball into the forward 50 like we did this evening or yesterday evening. It's not going to work out that way. It's not going to be handed to us on a platter. Richmond are a better football side. You know, it's not going to be that easy. I can tell you that much. But that's going to be it. I think that's everything I have to say about this one. 4 points nonetheless. Back in the top 4, I do believe, or 5th. I'm not sure. We can fall down to 5th by the end of the round, but you know, of course, every win matters, and this is just another one on that path to finals, and we're one win closer. So that's a positive. But in saying that, I don't think this is a win that you can get overly excited about. You can't celebrate it. First half was good, but once again, second half performance is letting us down, you know, possibly leaving a few goals to be desired. I think a few is an understatement, but, you know, in saying that, as I said, a win's a win, and we take it. So if you enjoyed this one, drop a like and subscribe. It is a usual thing on this channel. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.